Hey, what's going on, guys? We're going to get right into it today. All right. What am I currently reading? Because I finished nothing between today and, well, Monday when I recorded and put a video up. So if you guys want to see my Berserk update, I haven't read Berserk, but we are having a live Berserk discussion tomorrow at 6 p.m. with Tom Orange over at Tom Orange Books, Jake from Nerd Level Rising, Alex from Kentaura, and Chris from Bearded Book Beast tomorrow, 6 p.m. Eastern on my channel. You guys can, if you're subscribed here, you will get the notification, I think, when it goes up. And yeah, so we're going to talk about everything up to the end of the Golden Arc, the Golden Age arc. Being that I was going into the discussion, I kind of wanted to go in with that still fresh in my mind, so I didn't really touch much since Monday. But yeah, going into that discussion tomorrow. And now what am I currently reading? I'm reading Dregs of Empire. I'm about 55, 60% done with it. Loving it so far. Everything about this story and the character in the story and the planet that we're on, it's all expanding on the Sun Eater universe in such a cool, original, unique way. And it's so cool seeing it in the voice of the character that we're seeing, a beloved character. I don't want to spoil it for you guys, considering if you're reading the series, you likely know the character that's in this based on the cover, but I don't feel like it's my responsibility to expose that to you. So that is what I'm currently reading. I hope to be done with that before next week's video. I will be done with Dregs of Empire before next week's video. My reading is slowing down. I will try to read Knight of Knives, or at least get halfway through before next week's video, my Malazan read, because then I'm going into We Are the Dead the following week as we go into a discussion in the first week of December with the Red Company, myself, Alex Iskandaria, Jake from Nerd Level Rising, and Chris at the Bearded Book Beast. We will be discussing We Are the Dead by Mike Shackle, so I have to get into the beautiful Broken Binding edition. I have to get into this before the end of the month, so I will be reading that. And if I have time, now here's the big deal. Here's the crazy part, all right? This is wild to me. So Jake over at Nerd Level Rising has had some contact with Janny Wurts, and she wrote the series The Wars of Light and Shadow, and she wrote the, I think she has a few others, because we have the Alliance of Light book 4. I don't know where this is in the series. Honestly, I haven't looked yet. But anyway, she sent me a package. Thanks to Jake, obviously, for connecting with her, and then for her for reaching out and being so open to share her books with me, because this is what I'm actually getting into. I might get into before the end of the month, because I'm just honestly so excited I have it, and I've been wanting to read her writing, and I need to expose myself to other writers, especially as I'm working on the revisions for my book. But we have To Ride Hell's Chasm here by Janny Wurts. That's one of the books she sent me. I'm going to go through all of them. She sent me book 4, Trader's Knot. Oh, this is The Wars of Light and Shadow. Okay. Alliance of Light, book 4. All right. I think, I don't know. We'll figure it out. I'm sure she's going to go in and resolve this for me. But yes, this is Trader's Knot. We have that. We have Peril's Gate right here. I mean, these covers are beautiful. I think she's done the artwork on all of these. I don't, based on everything I've watched about it, I think that's what we got going on. Then we have Grand Conspiracy here. Look at these covers of these characters. I don't know the names of these characters yet, but like looking back, I know I'm gonna be like so stoked that like they're on the covers. Here we go. Then we have Curse of the Mist Wraith, the first book of Wars of Light and Shadow that I will intend to get to, I believe, in June or July of next year. I'm finishing my Malazan read. That's the hope by then, so I can get into Wars of Light and Shadow, because this is a series that this is the next like big like 11, 12 book series I'm really diving into head first, with the density of in terms of the attention that it's going to require for me to read. I want to make sure it's given the proper attention it deserves. Not that I don't give my attention to other books, but then we have Ships with Marior right here, Wars of Light and Shadow. Again, another beautiful cover. Just the detail, like the bow. Oh my gosh. Absolutely fantastic. We're just stacking them up here. Really, we're just stacking them up. This is going to be another thumbnail. Then we have Fugitive Prince. So this, I mean, just the typography, honestly, so beautiful. It looks like so mythological. It's bizarre. Wow. But yes, I'm so grateful that she sent them to me. Jenny, thank you. If you end up watching this, thank you so much. I'm very excited to get into your books. To Ride Hell's Chasm will be first, if not this month. My intention is January, depending on how my December goes. But yes, I will be reading To Ride Hell's Chasm as my first Janny Wurts read. And then I believe that there is a novella that she has preceding Wars of Light and Shadow, which I may get into in like February, March, just depending on where I'm at. So yeah, we have, this is like a major book haul for me. This is like the most books I think I've gotten in a week. It's absolutely insane. Again, very, very grateful. Cannot be grateful enough. I'm hoping that when myself and Jake go to the ICFA conference in March that we get a chance to meet Janny and whoever else is going. I'm really excited to go. We got our tickets. We're going. I'm so stoked. So that is book updates in terms of reading. If you guys are here just for that, I know it's a short one this week with a video on Monday. Kind of nothing much has changed with the exception of getting further through Dregs of Empire. I intend on finishing that as far as my November TBR goes, and then I will jump into Knight of Knives by Ian C. Esselmont for those of you who are here for my reading journey. Thank you so much for coming, and please subscribe. Comment below with what you're reading, what your weekly reads are, what your next book is on your TBR. I'm excited to talk about that stuff. Now I'm going to go into my writing. Now I'm going to do something a little different. And I don't know if this is a good idea or a bad idea. Maybe there's an author out there that can tell me, because I'm just going to share with you guys and kind of be really transparent. I'm working. I'd finished my first draft of book 2 last week. So I'm going through book 1 now. And I'm about 50 pages into the revisions here. I started Monday because I kind of just really gave it some headway and got back into it. And I have a line I want to read that I was very excited to put into this current draft because it's just exciting. So I want to take the mysticism out of this. And it's also a beautiful line. And if you guys haven't, you can go watch me read the first part of my prologue, the before, in another video that I have linked in every one of my video descriptions. You guys can check that out. Again, that's a rough, I literally just made changes to it yesterday and the day before. So it's not completely different, but there are a lot of changes that I made to make it a little bit more accessible and entice more excitement. And I'm very excited about that as I get into it. So you guys can check kind of like a rough reading of that from me in the description down below. You can read a blurb for my book. Again, rough mock blurb from my book down below in the description. If you're here for my writing journey, I'm going to this is something I plan on doing on Substack because I'm actually subscribed to Christopher Ruocchio's Patreon, and he does this, like he goes through where he is word count wise, where he's going to be, like what the intention of his word count is going to be for the end of the book that he's currently writing. He gives a line from the book that he shares with everybody through Patreon. It's actually really wonderful just to get that like kind of behind the scenes look. So kind of stealing from that, really, I'm gonna share a line here from my book. And this is from chapter 1, so it's not much of a spoiler in terms of the characters that I develop. If you read down below, you can kind of get an idea of my blurb in terms of the character I'm speaking about. So here we go. If you guys are tuning in for the first time, I'm just gonna kind of read. This is vulnerable for me to share, but here we go. I'm going to start at the end of this paragraph. Marin seemed to calm a moment. Let's try that again. Marin seemed to calm a moment, sighing as he slowly closed and opened his eyes. Are you still trying to drown those demons? Erevayn shook his head, still feeling dejected. His hand went to his head, reaching his neck back. Aye, he said, spitting to the cobbled stone at his feet. But I think they've learned to swim. He took in a deep breath, closing his eyes, swallowing at the dryness that lingered there. He let out a huff of air, seeing her face and his lids as if she had never gone, as if she had never been taken away from him. And scene. That's all, guys. I know I probably blundered there. Now, reading that, I know that's going to need some editing. Erevayn shook his head, still feeling dejected. His hand went to his head. Said head twice in a back-to-back sentence. That bothers the shit out of me. For my own writing. But yeah, so you guys are getting a real behind-the-scene look at how I go about this. Again, not sure if it's a great idea or not to share this sort of intimate detail of my writing at this point in its development, as we will be publishing in July. But I think it's fun. I think it's fun, and this is the story I want to talk about. So I think those little, kind of lines I can pull out and that are vague enough and don't spoil anything, don't spoil much. I think I'd like to share them with you guys and hear your thoughts. Come Substack in January, there will be a short story of Alevist Lightseeker's pre-reckoning journey, and who knows what else I put up there. I have a Dear Reader that's written out and edited, and I'll probably put that out to you guys. And then that's something I plan on going at the beginning of my book, so you guys can kind of get an idea of my writing style, my prose, and also kind of understand the theme of what you're getting into when you're talking about my book. So yeah, I'm going to close that, giving you guys a very intimate behind the scene look at my current writing and where I'm at in my journey. And yeah, I'm grateful that you guys are here. If you're watching this, I'm grateful that you guys come every week to follow the updates. If you're new, I'm grateful that you came to hang out and stay this long to hear my writing updates. These videos going forward, guys, weekly updates as I'm getting into my revisions for this first book, at least for the next few weeks, it's going to be very heavy on the writing because that's where my life is right now. Like reading, it hasn't really taken so much of a backseat, but as I'm going to revisions and the attention to detail is very important versus just like a word vomit first draft, my mind is going to be on that. And so I want to be transparent with that. My reading is definitely, I'm not going to be reading like 5 books a month. Not that, I think the last time I did that might've been June or July, but yeah, I'm not reading a lot, a ton of books and quantity, but my goal is to consume the stories I want to read. Malazan is at the top of my priority list. If you're curious, finishing that series because I'm halfway through. I'm really excited to finish it. It's just a journey I love being on, and I want to see where I want to follow it and see it through. And then obviously, of course, Sun Eater, we're getting into the Last War trilogy. And then I will probably be continuing the Adan trilogy with the Prophet of Adan at some point in the near few months. And then any like buddy reads that I have with friends or other booktubers and people in the booktube community, those are things that I'm going to focus on. Whereas my writing, in terms of my reading, but whereas my writing is definitely taking up the forefront of my space. So I just want to be transparent and share that with you guys. Maybe it sounds like an excuse, but that's fine. It's kind of just the way that my brain is working right now. It's very much focused on making sure that I'm able to put out the best product I can for you guys before. And I mean, this is before it goes to a developmental editor in December. So I'm making sure that he gets something that he looks at and is like, okay, like I'm giving it my best for him. This is my like 7th polish through this. So, and I have reader notes for the first time, and it's very exciting and exhilarating to kind of go through and see those notes and see the things that I can improve on. I'm obsessed and addicted to that kind of aspect of any journey, improvement, and yeah, I'm addicted to it. It's the best way I can explain it. And for those of you out there who write, those of you out there who are looking for resources in terms of writing, again, I'm not an expert in any means. This is my debut book that I'm putting out. I've only written 2 that, and not one has published until July. So take this with a grain of salt. I said this last night. I said, everybody's got 2 cents, but mine ain't worth 2 pennies. But The War of Art by Steven Pressfield is a book that I believe is must read for people who are interested in writing or honestly any artistic journey whatsoever, or if in life we are pushing up against resistance. Everybody does. And I think getting a language and tools in our toolbox that we can use to help us push through those barriers. The War of Art is like a squat, a bench press, a pull up, a deadlift. Like it's all of those things, just like comparing it to physical exercise. It's a marathon run, and it's such a short read, and it's so impactful. I highly recommend you check it out. Steven Pressfield has a bunch of nonfiction stuff that you can just read through. I love his fiction, but you can read through his nonfiction, and it's not about motivation. It's not about self-help. It's about giving yourself as many tools as possible to succeed in whatever it is that you're doing. And The War of Art to me is a hammer and an anvil. Like it is the whole deal. And if you're authors, if you are authors that are watching this, let me know what resources you have that maybe I could benefit from. I know there's other books out there. I know there's The Art of Fiction. I know we have Stephen King's On Writing. There's The Elements of Style, which was one of the more impactful books of my writing journey that I've read. I want to hear what you guys, if you're writers, what your resources are. Obviously, the Brandon Sanderson lectures from BYU on YouTube, those are so valuable, especially if you're writing fantasy and science fiction. But yeah, I went on a little bit of a ramble here at the end. I'm going to end the video because I'm just rambling, but I'm done talking. Thank you guys so much for sharing this with me and being a part of this journey. I'm excited as I'm obviously feeling a little emotional and very excited as I'm getting back into the revisions of my very first book. And I'm just looking forward to have everybody be a part of this journey with me. And that's all. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you next week, or if you're coming to the live discussion tomorrow at 6 p.m. with myself, Tom Orange, Jake from Nerd Level Rising, Chris from Bearded Book Beast, and Alex from Iskandaria. Stop by and say hi. We're hanging out. We're having a good time. We're talking Berserk. Come and see what it's about. All right, guys. I'll see you next week.